Welcome to the show, everyone. Grant Cohn, Coach Noah Johnston, your regular Tuesday show on this channel. If you were expecting a one-on-one with Kyle Shanahan, I sorry for misleading you. It was just a thumbnail I got off Google. It seemed like, because this show is about the maturation of Kyle Shanahan. And I was just looking at his face, sitting there, you know what I'm saying, answering that question. He looked like, that to me looked like a mature Kyle Shanahan. So I was like, that's the picture I'm taking. And I didn't mean to mislead anyone. Sorry. It's just me and Coach.
Well, for the people, like if you're gonna do that, you got to give him a Kyle impression now.
I don't do a good Kyle impression. Jason Aponte does the best Kyle impression on this channel so far. I don't do a good one. Kyle talks in mysterious ways, and I don't do it well.
I don't think I've seen Aponte's impression.
It's decent. It's actually the best one I've seen anyone do.
Okay.
So I give him that. But look, we're going to talk about the Dallas game a lot. We're going to talk about Kyle Shanahan because all of a sudden I'm big pro Kyle. Oh, first other thing I want to say. I was on with Vish yesterday, and I was like, I never said the Niners should fire Kyle Shanahan. I challenge anyone to fire for 10 minutes. Someone's like, here's your video saying the 49ers should fire Kyle Shanahan. It's just like me ranting. So anyway, I did. Sorry. Good call. Good catch. It was after they lost to Colt McCoy. It was an instant reaction. And I'm going to say I can't be held responsible for all my instant reactions, but I think that was the only day I ever said that. I think the other days of the year I said, trade him if he misses the playoffs. So, touche.
Yeah, I said it should be considered. Like back when he was in a loser, it was fair to consider. I wasn't on board with fire him now, but consider it.
I said it after he lost to Colt McCoy. I got a little worked up. So yeah, good catch. I did. Smooth DB 49 is a new member. Thank you. All right. So what we want to do first, now that I got that off my chest, is go back before we talk about Dallas. I like to start with a little context. The Niners made the playoffs, 10-17.
They did?
They made the playoffs. They're at 10-17. Does this validate the 49ers' decision at quarterback this year? Did they make the right decision at quarterback this year, given that they're in the freaking playoffs?
I think let's go back and look at the options that they had, right? So, okay. First one I think was Sam Darnold. Would that have been a good decision for the 49ers?
No.
I don't. I think he started off.
That would have been a horrendous decision. Let's say that. Yeah.
Okay.
Horrendous.
Right.
People would be getting fired right now if they had done that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, okay. Right. No. Stafford.
See, I do think you and I are both not the biggest Stafford guys. And to me, I think you got to weigh his. You got to see what he does for the Rams in the playoffs, because that's really what it's about for them when they made that trade. But I felt like the Niners trading for Stafford and the Rams trading for Stafford are two different things. Why? Because Jimmy Garoppolo's contract, the Niners can get rid of. The Rams couldn't get rid of the Goff contract. Like, that's on their books, right? And it's still on their books. So they're in two different situations, whereas the 49ers.
Let me ask you it this way. If the Niners had Stafford this year right now, would they be the best team in the NFL?
I think, in my opinion, they'd be
because
better.
What does Stafford not have in LA? A run game. If you gave him the Niners run game and these weapons, I don't know. But he'd be expensive.
That's what I'm getting.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that's the rep, but I think it might have been a better option though.
Right. That's what I'm getting at. I mean, I come from I'm not an all-in 1 year type of guy. I think you got to look at it as a 5-year window. And the Stafford's still going to take a chunk out of your salary cap away. So,
and he's still a bad decision maker, man. Those picks.
Yes.
I mean, like, Jimmy throws the picks to the linebacker, Stafford throws the picks to the safety. Like, what are the corners? Like, what are you doing?
It's funny that they both make bonehead decisions. What makes Stafford better is he gives you every throw on the field, and so he can make up for some of those bonehead decisions where Jimmy can't. True. So that's where he's better. But he'll make some throws. Like, what are you doing, dude? Like,
exactly. Like, Jimmy had those throws, and then by the end of the game, you were like, oh, Stafford negated him. I mean, pretty much he did the same thing, just in different parts of the field. So look, let's take Stafford out of it. What about just staying at 12 and taking Mac Jones? Or just starting Trey Lance? Again, here's the thing. Jimmy made it, but I think this team is too good to be 10-7. And the reason that they are 10-7 is because their quarterback consistently is above the league average in interception percentage. You can't trust him, and Kyle knows it. They have all these weapons on offense, and they have to run everything through their running back because Jimmy's INT percentage at best is 2.7. The league average is 2.4.
Right.
His career with the Niners is 2.9, and he's not a big play guy. Like his TD percentage this year is league average 4.5. So he's high risk, medium reward, as Vish put it. A lot of guys could be high risk, medium reward for cheaper. That's why I still feel like, you can't start a rookie. Jimmy's a rookie. Jimmy's still working out the kinks on the whole turnover issue, like without big returns to give you. So
yeah, I think when you look at it, like whether it was Mac or Trey or whichever rookie, I think that is the best path, because what it does is, it didn't happen this year, but it allows you to move on from Jimmy, get rid of so you can get a guy that can play equal to Jimmy or better, and you're not paying him as much as Jimmy, so that makes him better. That makes him better than Jimmy. And so
the Niners' game plan is minimizing Jimmy every week because he throws too many interceptions. His interception percentage is above average. I mean, I don't know what would you want to call it. It's just it's above average, but that makes it sound like it's good. But anyway, it's bad. It's a bad interception percentage.
It's not good. 2.7 is not good. 2.7 is not good.
It's not good. The average is 2.4 in the league. So you have to minimize his impact on the game. That's not what you want from your quarterback. And you can do that with a rookie. You can do that with like Mac Jones' interception percentage right now is 2.5. I mean, it's better. It's not great. He's like an average quarterback right now. You can get average quarterback play for cheap. That's been my thing all year. You can get this for cheap. It's average.
Zach Wilson hasn't thrown a pick in like 5 weeks.
Yes.
Right.
And with a team with this run game and this defense, I just need a quarterback who doesn't throw a ton of picks. Really. You can go very far with a guy like Alex Smith as opposed to, I know everyone thinks Jimmy, well, look at his record. Look at it. Man, he's 12-10 in his last 22. That's very Jared Goff-ish. Jared Goff from the Rams-ish. If he didn't have this run game, if you put him on the Rams and said, okay, when you hand off to Sony Michel, you're going to get 2 yards of carry, but you got to go down the field to Kupp and Beckham. How's he going to do? I mean, that's not set up for him. I'm just saying.
So I do think the Niners made the right decision in drafting a rookie quarterback.
Yes.
But however, I do think that they should have just played the rookie instead of Jimmy and gone about it that way. So I think they were right in a lot of ways, but wrong in some ways, because they're not getting – I feel like that they could be getting at least equal play from the quarterback position by playing Lance, but then they could have used that money on something.
The fact that they've been able to win, despite Jimmy Garoppolo's above average turnover rate the last few years, just shows how good the rest of the team is. And it shows that they could have succeeded with a rookie, because what are you worried about with a rookie? Turnovers, right? That's what you're worried about. Bad decisions, turnovers. Like, I bet you, I'm pretty confident that if Mac Jones had played with this team, he'd have a better interception percentage than Jimmy, and probably Trey Lance too. So, it worked, but it's more of a function of how good Elijah Mitchell is, and Deebo Samuel is, and Trent Williams is, and Kyle Shanahan is. And we're going to talk about how Kyle Shanahan has really improved this year. I'm not sure that Jimmy Garoppolo has. I don't think Jimmy Garoppolo has improved. I think Jimmy Garoppolo is remarkably consistent, and I think Kyle has improved, and the supporting cast has improved.
How do you get a rookie really or a young quarterback to function on a high level? What do you provide them with?
A good supporting cast and a modest workload. Like, don't throw too much. That's what they do with Jimmy.
Running the football.
Yeah. Don't throw too much. 25 throws,
protection,
25 runs, and good.
And a defense on the other side.
That's exactly what you could have given him. And Bill Belichick wasn't scared to do it, but the Niners were. And again, the whole idea with this was, well, Jimmy went 13-3. Jimmy, you can be a number 1 seed. Maybe with a rookie, maybe you're a wild card team. Well, Jimmy's a rookie. He plays like a rookie. He is a rookie. He's been the same quarterback since he was 26. Which one, you know what I'm saying? So I'm sorry. The Niners went with a rookie. They have a rookie quarterback right now. They do.
Right.
He's a rookie.
The 13 and the whole 13-3 thing, it bothers me, right? Because you do something one time doesn't mean that you're it.
He's 12-10.
Something happened one time. Like when Jimmy Garoppolo hits a post, he could throw deep. It's not about doing it one time. No, Can you do it consistently?
He was 15-3 in that season. And since that NFC Championship game, 12-10. That's 22 games. All right, we got to move on. Chris Holt says, Grandin and Johnston, can you please give the Niner fans a snapshot on how the Niners can beat the Cowboys? Oh, yes. And we're going to give you that. We're going to give you more than a snapshot. We're going to lay out exactly how it will happen if it happens. And then we're going to lay out exactly how they'll lose if they lose. So we'll give you both sides of the coin. I don't think either of us is ready to pick a winner just yet. Jim is a more attractive Rex Grossman. No, he's Eli without the arm. He's Eli throwing the quick passes over the middle because Eli threw a ton of picks too.
He did. Eli threw a ton of picks. Peyton threw a ton of picks, to be honest.
He's not Peyton.
No,
Eli's career INT to TD ratio was like 1.5 to 1. It wasn't good, but he could hit you. I mean, he didn't miss those throws down the field in the Super Bowl. He wouldn't have missed Emmanuel Sanders.
Right.
And he wasn't afraid to cut it loose outside the numbers or down the field.
Yeah, I'm going to bring up Eli a little later, but what Eli did in the Super Bowl run is he minimized his turnovers. His turnovers went from he was like 2.7 or something percent, just like Jimmy or higher. But then when in the playoffs, it went to 0.8 both times.
That's how you win. Swan Song says, unless the Niners win the Super Bowl, bringing back Jimmy G was a mistake. Could have rolled out over that $25 million for 2022 and give a year of experience for Lance. Yeah, and you made the best roster even better. I just keep saying I really feel like rookies could play the way Jimmy plays like a rookie. That's the point. He plays like a freaking rookie. He makes the same mistakes all the time. He commits a lot of turnovers. He doesn't give you a lot of big plays. The whole thing is minimize his impact. Yeah, that's what you do with rookies. Minimize their impact.
We've talked about this, I think, last week. What rookies really look bad right now? Look, Zach Wilson got better on the Jets. Like Trevor Lawrence is on the trash Jaguars, but in spots he looks fine. Mac Jones, you see
with Trevor Lawrence on the Niners? Are you kidding? They would be easily the Super Bowl favorites. Heard you were leaning toward picking the Niners. Here's $5 to take that back. Can you effing this up for the fan base by picking us to win? Oh, it's too late, baby. It's too late. I'm pretty sure every time the Niners have lost, I've picked them to win. I think. I'll have to go back and look. But thanks, Sean. I appreciate the $5. I'll consider it because of the donation. The trade up was the mistake. Could have had success with any quarterback at 12. That's a very interesting take that Niner fans don't want to agree with, and we'll see because we'll look back in 5 years and
you gotta assess it that way. But as long as I think if Trey doesn't bust, then I think, and then it also matters what else they do with their draft picks. Like if this Ambry Thomas pick ends up hitting, that's going to save them in the future first round draft picks because normally you don't find corners late like that.
Yeah. Okay. Not talking about Dallas yet. Let's talk about Jimmy. He just won, got a lot of praise. I waited a day and then I said, hey, isn't it fair to say that this was the exact same performance that everyone hated from Tennessee? And everyone was like, shut up. He won. But my question to you, who you didn't tell me to shut up yet, is it fair to criticize Jimmy Garoppolo after wins? Especially a win like that, down 17-0.
Because you can win and still have problems and you can still see issues that need to be corrected and things that are wrong. Like there's a reason they were in a 17-0 hole. Like remember at the beginning of the season when the 49ers were 2-0 and then we were talking about, some issues that the 49ers had, like Detroit came back on them and you could see some things like they didn't do a good job stopping the run. And what happened to the next couple of games? Those issues showed themselves even more and they lost football games.
Exactly.
Right? So
if they had won the Super Bowl, you couldn't. If he wins the Super Bowl, I won't criticize Jimmy Garoppolo. But they haven't done that yet. And we're still projecting ahead. And teams that are going to face the Niners are going to look at these things and be like, okay, that is a way. That's an edge to victory right there. So these things matter.
Right. And turnovers matter. Like,
yes.
There's a reason why Jimmy's only won 2 games this year when he throws a pick, right?
There's a reason why Kyle Shanahan called 8 passes in the NFC Championship game. And it's not just because the run game was working.
Correct. So if they played that game 5 times and were in a 17-0 hole, they probably would have only won it once. If they played it 10 times in the 17-0 hole, they probably would have only won it once or twice.
But to me, I mean, what's so remarkable about, and this is going to go into the maturation in a minute of Kyle. The way they got out of the 17-0 hole was not throwing the ball.
They ran the ball first. Yes,
exactly. They could have been like, "Hey, man, Jimmy, we need you." damn, this wasn't in the game plan to be down 17-0, but it's like right before halftime, we need you to just in the third quarter, down, like they could have gone at halftime down 17-3 and said, okay, the plan now is to go bombs away. They didn't do that. And really, that's amazing. That's amazing.
They looked at Debo and Elijah Mitchell and said, we need you.
And they came through. And they came through. And so Jimmy Garoppolo came through when at the end, as he has about 4 or 5 times this year. And that's great. But the whole team put him in that position to do that after he put the team in a hole. So, yeah, it's fair to criticize Jimmy Garoppolo after wins, but I do think it's important to like put it in context. Like he probably took too much heat after the Tennessee loss. Now, you commit 2 turnovers in a game, you pretty much need to take the heat, especially if you lose. But he did lead a touchdown drive at the end of the Tennessee game, just like he did at the end of the Rams game. The difference was in L.A., Eric Armstead sacked Matthew Stafford to put the game in overtime. In Tennessee, he didn't do that. He didn't sack Ryan Tannehill. No one sacked Ryan Tannehill. They got the field goal. Like the Rams easily could have gotten a field goal on that last drive. They were like 30 yards away with 20-something seconds and a couple field goals. They easily could have.
In Tennessee, nobody covered A.J. Brown. Like
Right.
No, that's right.
So really, Jimmy, I mean, he kind of does the same stuff all the time. And I think it's fair to just point out that like, he does some good stuff and he does some bad stuff. And a lot of times it evens out, but you can't just focus on, I guess, one or the other. You got to put it all out there. It's all part of it.
Right.
And it's like, to me, what's interesting is Tennessee, he has X performance in Tennessee. They lose. Everyone hates him. He has the same performance against the Rams. Niners win. Everyone loves him. It's like, well, that's the issue we're trying to talk about. We need to actually evaluate these performances independent of what the team result was. And usually, that's what we're judging.
Usually his picks, the two, directly correlate to points or loss of points. Like they either result in points for the other team or you're about to score and they take away your points.
Okay. So his second, we're going to move on, but his second pick in LA, okay? They're at the 22. They're in field goal range. Throws a pick in the end zone to a triple covered George Kittle. So you just took 3 points off the board. Then the Rams on the ensuing drive score a touchdown. So that's at least a 10-point swing, maybe a 14-point swing. So the Niners are down 7 points at the end, and then Jimmy Garoppolo leads the drive to tie the game. That wasn't tied because of him. So it's like, yeah, what a hero. What a freaking hero. Wow.
Right. And momentum, I think watch it. Momentum matters in football. Like momentum and turnovers are momentum killers and momentum starters. So when did Tennessee start coming back? When the interception happened. When did LA Rams start to make a little run? When the interception happened. So like those, you got it. Like that's why.
Here's why the Niners beat the Rams. Because when the Rams went up 17-0, they couldn't seal the deal with their run game. They have no run game. And then there was one play that's going to go overlooked because it was in second quarter. But to me, this was the turning point of the season for the Niners. 3rd and 1, right before halftime, the Rams go empty formation. The Niners in 3rd and 1 would have just done quarterback sneak, right? That's a better call. The empty formation, you don't even have a run threat on 3rd and 1 because they know their run game sucks. What happens? Do you remember? Sack.
Yeah.
Sack. And so that set up the Niners' ability to get a field goal before halftime. What if they do a quarterback sneak on 3rd and 1, get the first down, drive down the field, get a field goal, or a touchdown? That game is over. But no, they didn't have a freaking run game. So they're frauds. They can't hold a lead. That's why the Niners were able to get back in the game. That allowed them to stick with their run game and give Jimmy a chance to be a hero late. But really, if the Rams had any type of running game, it's not just that the running backs suck, it's that their design sucks too. And Sean McVay is so freaking overrated. They would have won. But that's what happens when you can't run the ball. Ask Kyle Shanahan in his 2 Super Bowls that he lost.
It also says something about the opposing defensive line. If it's 3rd and 1 and you go empty, like the opposing defensive line got you. Like
yeah, you're scared. But at the same time, like you're gonna get him sacked, and then you got him sacked. So I'm just saying, maybe if you want to pass, like go max protect. Anyway,
it also depends on the quarterback too, Grant. Like Tom Brady and empty is not the same as Matt Stafford and empty because Tom Brady
actually acting like they had Tom Brady for a second.
Tom Brady and empty. It is actually pass protection. He'll get rid of the ball.
Yeah. Bert says, has there ever been a Super Bowl champion with a division losing record? Probably, but I don't know. It's a good question. Also, here's $5 to pay for that egregious taxi fee, man. They were making me, they knew I was in a bad spot. They're like, all right, how much is your life worth to you? What do you want to pay? Like, oh, man, thanks. Thank you. I felt like that's what happens when you go to Italy, man. They're like, all right, well, how much can I get out of this guy for this taxi?
Maybe Jed could have picked you up. He probably
left. Yeah.
He left early. He left at the halftime.
Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy, could you pick me up, please? Ricky says, off topic, but any thoughts about McDaniel and Adam Peters getting interview requests by other teams? They haven't had any yet, have they?
I know Peters has by the Giants.
Oh, he has? Great. Good for them. McDaniel, not as a head coach, would he? He's really good at what he does with the run game.
He'd have to be because he's the OC, right? So they can turn.
Kyle and him are great with the run game. Sean McVay is so vanilla, dude. That is played out. He looks like he's like a outdated version of some software that hasn't had an update in 3 years. Looking whack. 49er Glory says, laugh my ass off. Jimmy Stands laughing my ass off. Jimmy Stands praising him for the comeback when Debo threw the first passing TD. Yes, that is pretty rich. Jimmy Garoppolo. 20 touchdowns and 12 picks this year. The league average for a team is 26 touchdowns and 13 interceptions. He was at 20 and 12. Man, he's amazing. Every other corner besides Diggs on Dallas is booty, and Diggs still has 1,000 yards given up this season. Yeah, but the Cowboys have 26 picks this year, so throw at your own risk. You might get a lot of yards, but you trust Jimmy throwing against Dallas? I don't know about that.
The only thing I would say about that is Diggs is a corner. Most of Jimmy's picks are going to come in the middle of the field by linebackers and safeties. Now, that's not to say that he can't, but Ramsey picked it off. But where did Ramsey pick it off? In the middle of the field.
They still have 15 other interceptions besides him, and I don't know the Niners have 15 picks this year. Just saying. Swan Song said, I think the TD-INT ratio against Dallas is 24-26. So just be careful throwing because their run defense is nothing special. We're going to talk about that in a minute. Swan Song says Jimmy's like a 20-win pitcher in baseball that has a 5.25 ERA, great run support, doesn't even have 20 wins. Yeah, kind of, sort of. Yeah, he's like he gets those wins, but he's on a good team, and all of his advanced stats are not that great.
Right. My
dad and I still can't understand why the Eagles clinched a playoff spot before the Niners. How did that happen? And when we beat them, I don't care. I'm sorry, I just don't care. I never like doing the playoff stuff because I figure like it'll work itself out. Someone will explain it to me, and I won't have to do it. It's math. I don't know.
Yeah, it's relative to division to division.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Vince. McDaniel interview with Miami. Oh, I should know that. All right, well, good for him. For the head coaching job? Wow, okay. Let's talk about Kyle Shanahan. To me, I'm very impressed with Kyle Shanahan. I've been like the biggest Kyle Shanahan skeptic. To me, he lost both Super Bowls he was in, and I just can't take him seriously after he had a 28-3 lead in the third quarter, lost, a 10-point lead in the fourth quarter, lost. To me, that's a joke. And it's his fault. He had no run game to seal the deal. Now I see him in the Rams game down 17-0 and wins because he sticks with his run game down. Like that's a huge deal. That's what Harbaugh did in Atlanta 10 years ago. This is a different Kyle Shanahan, and I'm really impressed. To me, it says if he has his chance this year, he's not going to blow it. If he has a lead in a Super Bowl, he actually has the philosophy in the run game to seal the deal, and that's a big step for him, I think. Is it too early to say that? I don't know. That's how I feel about him right now.
I thought he was really masterful in the last game, and as an offense coordinator, but I think you have to give him a lot of credit as a head coach as well, because keeping a team's head right down 17 and being able to keep them in that game and believing that they'll win the game, it's not easy. No. And it shows his ability as a head coach, right? Because that's one thing people knock him for is we know you're a great offensive coordinator, but are you a head coach?
Yeah.
And it shows his ability as a head coach to be a leader of men in critical moments. It was impressive.
It also shows that he can get out of his own freaking way. Because I think he beat himself in the Super Bowls. You didn't get beat by anyone but yourself.
Yeah.
You couldn't run the ball. Honestly, if they were running the ball in the fourth quarter of the game against the Chiefs like they're running it now, they would have won. Debo got no carries. That wouldn't happen now. Wouldn't happen.
And what the 49ers want to do, like what they do on defense and what they do on offense, it all fits together. Like I know first, like the 49ers defensively couldn't get off the field in the beginning, but like what hurt them also was their offense did nothing. So in order for the 49ers defense really to work, it's their offense has to chew up time. At least if they're not offense isn't going to score, it at least has to like get going, eat up yards, give them a break. Like if the Niners defense, if you just keep having to punt, get negative yards or no yards, have to punt, that's not good for the 49ers defense. They're not going to work. Most defenses aren't going to work well in that situation, but it's not going to work for the 49ers defense. Like you got to give them something. You got to give them something. And so their style of offense works with their style of defense. Run the football, keep the ball moving, and he did that. I mean, at least in the second half, it really got going. And like I got to give him credit. And he was set, and everything that he did in the second half, he set up in the first half. Like right, like he was setting up Ramsey for that touchdown pass. If you heard Debo talk about it, the entire game they were setting Ramsey up for that. So
yeah, and there's just a couple of factors here. Like, how did Kyle Shanahan get to this evolution? How did he get here? I think there's a couple of things. One, he had Jimmy Garoppolo as his quarterback. You didn't have Matt Ryan anymore. And his run game in Atlanta wasn't that sophisticated. I mean, he did his own blocking scheme stuff, which is a nice complement to a play action passing game with Julio Jones and Matt Ryan. Like it was a complimentary run game. Now with Jimmy as your quarterback, Jimmy the arsonist, who's an intercept waiting to happen. Like no. The engine of this offense for 5 years has been the run game, and you can't have that be your engine if it's just the zone blocking. It's not enough. It's like one type of blocking scheme. Now there's all kind of stuff. Also, and that's a big difference between the Niners and the Rams. Also, one more thing, Elijah Mitchell. Kyle hasn't had a running back that he can turn to and say, I'm giving you 20 carries today at least. You're my best guy. I trust you. Like he looks at Elijah Mitchell the way his dad looked at Terrell Davis 25 years ago. And Terrell Davis, I mean, Kyle doesn't have John Elway. He might, but he's not on the field just yet. He's marinating. But he does have his Terrell Davis right now. And that's a big deal. Anyway, he's so confident in his running back. I've never seen him as confident in a Niners running back until now. And plus Debo's part of it too. Go ahead.
I think the other thing you got to give him credit for is right in some of the things that we said during the course of the season, like, the 49ers should have never let Kendrick Bourne go. Well, Jennings looks pretty good.
Bingo. Right. Now he stepped up.
Right.
Because the idea was to replace Bourne with Sanu. Jennings is the replacement.
Right. Okay. What else was said? Well, Ambry Thomas, got to get him off the field. Got to get Ambry Thomas off. Well, got to get Ambry off the field. Got to get Ambry off the field. Like, what do we do? What do we do in that corner? Let's see how he does this week, but looks like he's getting better.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think there's some things where Kyle's stuck to his guns, and it looks like it's working out for him. I mean, also the big one is if the 49ers the 49ers do end up winning a Super Bowl, then him sticking to his guns with Jimmy, that would probably be another one. Although, you and I argue that whatever Jimmy does could be done with the rookie. We'll see how Jimmy does.
Well, we're going to talk about if the Niners win the Super Bowl, why it's going to be. I just don't think it's going to have much to do with Jimmy if they do win a Super Bowl, but he'll be on the team.
Oh, sorry. Let's wait. There is another big one that Kyle was right about. Trent Williams.
Well, let's see if he plays, man. He didn't play last week. He didn't play. He may not play this week. We'll have to see.
Right, but I know, but
he doesn't play this week, and
he's literally like one of the top 5 players in the NFL. If you want to say he's the best player, but like
they need him though right now.
They do.
Now. Okay. That Niner guy says Dolphins requested Mike McDaniel, singular, unless he has a brother that they also requested. Well, let's see if playoff Jimmy can win some games because bring up passing stats in the playoffs, 12 and 20 passes a game out here. Look, if they may have interviewed him before, in which case they may really want him because he's not going to interview well. I don't know if you've ever seen a press conference with him. It's a little awkward, but his track record is legit. He's good at what he does. I mean, look at the difference between the Rams and the Niners is essentially him. I mean, if the Rams had Mike McDaniel, that run game wouldn't look like crap, which is what it looks like right now. And so maybe the Dolphins know exactly what they want. Like, we don't really care what his presentation is or what his leadership is. Like, we had that with Flores. Flores was the essence of a leader. Like, we just need a scheme we trust on offense. Like, well, that's maybe Maybe that's your guy. And also, if they hire him, well, that would be a blow to the Niners. Like, that's their ace right here, man. That's their guy. Be a blow. That would not be good. And that would happen soon, right? Like, these things happen now, right? Coaching search time?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
the
Happening
Niners,
tomorrow.
and that essentially usually the Niners could protect themselves by advancing in the playoffs because typically teams don't really wait for guys. So the longer you advance, the longer you usually keep your staff because teams don't want to wait.
Lil PayPal says, Grant, huge fan. Can we please get Papa Cohn on and discuss this Cowboy game and his memories of that rivalry? Would love it. I would love it too. I don't think I can at this point. Sorry. It's not the right time. I'm sorry. Harsh Doshi says, here's $5. Thank you. That was nice. Wait a minute. That's not Kyle. Am I going back to my meeting? Fake news. Gotcha. I'm going to the game. I'm from Texas. Big fan of Niners. What do we do to stop this mediocre Dallas offense? Keep playing.
I think we're going to talk about.
We're talking about it. Thanks again, Harsh. I think he's trying to figure out how to put a comment in. Would anyone trade Trey for Mac Jones right now? No. Mac Jones is. They should change his name to average NFL quarterback. That's what he is. You know, like a creative quarterback in like Madden is just like average in everything, and his name is like Brad Jones. That's him.
Do you know in the last month that he's thrown more interceptions than Zach Wilson?
Ooh. He didn't get too good when the weather got cold. Would anyone give us
I've talked about that before? Is in New England, like
got a noodle. He was playing in Alabama.
Yeah,
it's got a noodle. Would anyone give us 2 firsts for Trey? No. Worst move by Shanahan was that draft debacle, unforgivable. Yeah, like you traded for an asset that wasn't worth that. As soon as you drove it off the lot, it's worth, and you didn't play him week 1. What is it worth now, right?
The Trey's value is TBD, to be determined. I'm not going to call it like. Listen,
but the price to get him was very determined and very high.
It was, but. The
outside chance
most this quarterback draft doesn't look too hot. I mean, so
true.
Let's see.
True. That's true. I really like Lance, so I'm not gonna poo-poo it yet.
If he's mediocre, then you could probably say yeah, and especially if he's mediocre and they didn't play him this year, then you probably say that was a big blunder. But if they hit on him, if he's a top 10 quarterback, top 12 quarterback, then I think yeah, they made the right.
Yeah. Lucky Louise says outside chance Mostert plays in the Super Bowl. I don't think so. But maybe there's an outside chance. I don't know. I'll get back to you on that. Cowboys play against very weak division and have no fear going over the top and getting into shootouts. Cowboys are 10-ply soft. D'Amico, finish shine. Dude, the Cowboys lost by 14 to Denver.
I believe the Cowboys, I think the stat is they're 6-5 outside of their division.
Lost by 14 to Denver. Lost on Thanksgiving to the Raiders, who are 10-7. I mean, it's not like the Raiders are better than the Niners. So, yeah, they are not world beaters. Concerned we held Jimmy Garoppolo too long and wasted the years of our nucleus. If Trey Lance does turn into an elite quarterback, will our best players have aged out of their primes? Well, Debo's still young. Elijah Mitchell's still young. I feel like this Lance Mitchell
will be in his prime. Debo, if he both those
Lance
guys.
And Mitchell could be Kyle's Elway and TD. Just saying. I just said it.
The problem and with this is like, so with Lance, it's probably going to take him at least a season to get seasoned or experience. So I think that was the argument for most of us that wanted him to play this year. Like, just let him play, let him get used to the league and everything. Maybe make a playoff run, maybe you don't, and then next year you can make that run to the playoffs, right? Or to the playoffs and beyond. However, like next year, if he is the starter next year, there's gonna be trials and tribulations that he's gonna have to go through. He's gone through 2 games of it, but it's different when you're a starter for the entire season. Jimmy had the same thing. Jimmy was a starter for 5 games, right? And then the next season was different, right? He got injured.
Josh says one other thing Kyle did was listen to quality control. Yeah, finally. Thank you, Kyle. Thank you. All right. One interesting thing about this, let's start talking about this matchup with the Cowboys. Before we say how the Niners would win or lose, let's talk about the matchup. And one thing I think is really interesting is the coaching matchup. Kyle Shanahan against his former boss, Dan Quinn. Now, we don't really think much of Dan Quinn because he wasn't great in Atlanta, and we always like, well, that was Kyle's team essentially, but they know each other very well, put it that way. Know each other very well. And they faced each other 2 years ago when the Niners were better than this year, when they were 2019 on the way to being 15-3 and faced Dan Quinn at home at Levi Stadium, lost. Dan Quinn really shut down Mostert, did a really good job against the Niners run game, found a way to win. What do you expect from this chess match as a coach yourself?
It's a tough one. I think Dan Quinn has done a really good job with that Cowboys defense. So you got to give him credit there. So he's you can criticize him all you want as a head coach, but as a defense coordinator, he knows his stuff. So it's when two coaches know each other, it can be. It's a difficult one for both sides, and sometimes you can get one over as one over your friend if you do something that's unexpected, because they know you so well. They know your favorite plays. I don't know. Right. I don't know how it is necessarily on the pro or even on the college level, but like on the high school level, like I get involved in a lot of offensive meetings too. So I know their concepts. I know what they want to do. I know what their favorite plays are in critical situations. And I'm sure some of that, albeit they're in different meetings and such, that has to seep over from offense, defense, in the professional level. So,
and it's not like Kyle was the OC and Dan Quinn was the DC. Like Kyle reported to Dan Quinn. Yeah. Everything Kyle did went through Dan Quinn. So they have a very good sense of each other's tendencies. And to me, really quick, like what's interesting about this is Kyle has a tendency to overthink things when he's off. And Kyle, going up against a guy who he knows his stuff, he could be like, well, I normally do X in this situation and it works. But Dan Quinn knows I'm going to do X, so I got to do Y. And everyone in the huddle is like, "What? We don't ever run this in this situation." All of a sudden, you've sort of taken yourself out of your own game, overthought things, and Dan Quinn was just sort of standing there like, "What are you going to do?" That kind of stuff.
That's interesting because it's one of the things that Saban said about Belichick is that he overanalyzes things way too much, and they're really good friends.
Yes.
So, and this was years ago, and when he said that. So I think that dynamic of Kyle reporting to Quinn probably, Quinn probably knows a little bit more about Kyle than vice versa, especially because
possibly. I think we saw that 2 years ago when they I'm just
right,
saying,
especially because things since Quinn was the head coach, things are going to have to be run through him before they Kyle's going to have to tell him, hey, this is my game plan. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to do in these situations. So, right. Quinn doesn't have to tell Kyle, hey, Kyle,
no
situations this is what I want to do. So Dan probably has a little bit of an edge with the inside information.
Although we don't know for sure, and I think it'll be interesting. It's just I like watching the coaching chess match, and this is a big one. Who is going to blink? Who's going to overthink it because they're afraid the other person knows what they're going to do. Because you don't want to start doing all kind of stuff you've never done before just because that guy's standing there. It's like if you're a chess player and you're going up against some chess master who you've been practicing against for years, and it's time to finally take him down in a tournament, and all of a sudden you start doing a bunch of erratic things because you're afraid he knows what you're going to do. Like you can't win doing stuff you've never done. You got to do the stuff you do and live with the results.
Yeah, Walsh actually talked about that, and when asked about how you what's your philosophy in the playoffs? Like you start bringing out all these new things, try to trick teams, and he was like, no, you do what got you there. There's a reason why you're in the playoffs, and you do what got you there, right? And you might want to build off of some of that stuff. Like maybe if you're an outside zone team, maybe you want to throw in a couple of wrinkles.
Yeah, wrinkles are good. I like a wrinkle, but you can't just throw out your entire winning formula because you're afraid he's in your because that dude's in your head essentially.
Right.
Who's going to be in whose head?
You don't want to be like, oh well, I know he knows I'm going to run the ball, so I'm going to come out 5 wide. We're going to sling it. We're going to sling it around.
Play that game with yourself. You'll lose. Yeah, you will overthink it. All right. So the Niners have a tough matchup here. Michael Gallup is out, but Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb. I would argue that duo is better than Cooper Kupp and Odell Beckham Jr. Cooper Kupp is reliable, excellent. Odell Beckham Jr., I'm not impressed anymore. Used to be hell of a receiver. I think these two, Cooper and Lamb, are as good of a duo as any team freaking has. And then you have a quarterback who can avoid pressure by time and throw downfield. What is the most vulnerable part in the Niners secondary this week?
And think about this, Ambry's getting better now, and you've got Norman as a backup. Like I know people have trashed Norman, but he's not terrible. He's not as terrible as people say. Like so, if
he's like a quality backup at this point, right?
Yeah,
like
if he has to play, then you should feel comfortable. He played right. He's played. Dante Johnson wasn't a world beater last week, but he stepped
2 positions.
He's right, 2 positions. All right, so I think corner has, the depth certainly is there. Where I think they're vulnerable is if Tart or Ward can't play for any reason, whether it be COVID related, injury related, something happens during the game.
Yeah.
Their backups for safety it's a huge drop off.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't necessarily feel super comfortable about any of their backups playing significant time. I know Hufanga is a fan favorite and he's played in spots, but especially against Dallas, you do not want him out there covering any of these guys.
Yeah. If Tart doesn't play, that's another reason I'm not going to pick a winner yet. I said yesterday, Vish said the Niners should win, and I can see that. Like, we're going to talk about all the reasons the Niners should beat the Cowboys, but I don't know if Jaquiski Tartt's going to play in this game. I don't know about K'Wan Williams. He might play, but he didn't practice last week. I don't know if he's going to practice today. Like, what about K'Wan? So those nickel, because Lamb is in the slot a lot, right? And safety, Jaquiski Tartt, when he plays, they don't give up big plays. When he's off the field, I mean, when he left, all of a sudden, Kupp was catching passes over Jimmy Ward and stuff like that. That was pretty clear. So strong safety nickel, not corner.
And the thing about Lamb too is he's very elusive after the catch. So
yeah,
you got to be able to tackle.
And the thing about Amari Cooper is he's really good too. And Ambry Thomas has done really well the last few games, but this is another test for him. This guy's really good. So
yeah. I think if Ambry performs in this game, I mean, it would be pretty safe to say he's getting better, and that
I would definitely say that,
and that he's a starting corner.
If he can make plays and acquit himself well in this playoff game. Last week was a playoff game. I think he's pretty much got a starting job locked up. So good for him.
Right, great for him, and great for the Niners.
Project Max says every team Cowboys have played that are in the playoffs, they've lost to except Eagles and Patriots, who were not good at the time. We should win. Fair. That's another reason to pick the Niners. That's a good one. Yeah. These NFC East teams, kind of soft. Sean says, don't you guys think that Lance has observed a lot under Jimmy as far as expectations and pressure, especially how they started last game? Don't you think Trey's done? Do you guys think Trey's done for 2 or 3 games?
Do you think Trey's done for 2 or 3 games? I was kind of shocked that Trent didn't play. I thought that he would. Trent. Right. I thought that Trent would play. And to
me too. I mean, like an elbow. Like you see offensive linemen put braces on that and play all the time. Right.
So yeah, I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say I think Trent will play this week.
I don't know that. But yeah.
Hasn't he played? Didn't he play earlier this year when he was questionable?
He was questionable in his last game.
Right, but
yeah, I mean, I don't understand what's going on right now. I don't understand why he didn't play in this last game. Again, elbow injury, like there are braces for that. What's going on? I don't get it.
If they put him out there in the pressers, ask him. He's usually pretty forthcoming.
We will.
So I think he'll play. I think Trent. I think if he didn't play last game,
he would play last week.
If he didn't play last week, right, and he didn't, I think that he probably couldn't. I think if Trent can play, he's going to play. So
I don't know, Trent. Yeah, sure. I guess. I just think
I don't know. I don't know him either.
I don't know what's going to change. We'll see. I'm totally in the dark here. I'm not going to really project what's going to happen with Trent Williams. I'm totally in the dark with this one.
Yeah.
So if you want to say you think he's going to play, that's fine. That's cool.
Also another thing could factor in. You know where Trent? I believe Trent is from Texas.
Dude, I have no idea what's factoring in right now. The first part is, though, Lance learned and observed a lot under Jimmy as far as expectations and pressure. Yeah, maybe. I mean, it's a good question for Lance. I bet he would say yes.
Probably.
That's one thing he could say. I think he probably learned more about, being a NFL player than being a quarterback.
I do know when he was speaking last week, when they asked him about if he had to play against Dallas, not Dallas, versus the Rams, one of the first things he brought up was taking care of the football and not turning the ball over.
Yeah. Vince says McCarthy hasn't made the playoffs in a minute. Any rust? Dude, he's a terrible coach. I mean, Vince Pendar says trademark Jimmy the Arsonist and Banana Hands ASAP. Jimmy the Arsonist has a good little ring to it. I like that.
I think he's placing the placeholder for Kellen Moore. Like that's basically like
pretty much, yeah.
He's doing
this until Kellen Moore looks like he's like 27. Once he looks like he's like not 11, they'll give him the job because he looks 11. Courage of conviction. Kyle put on a big boy pants. Hopefully, love it. Put on his big. Yeah, you guys got to stick with the Elijah Mitchell game plan. Not all interceptions are the same. Titans game, Jimmy gave up the ball near our own goal line. Hence, loss was on Jimmy. Rams game, those interceptions not nearly as bad. Well, okay, but Jimmy Garoppolo fumbled like at his own 10, and that would have been the game loser right there if Tom Compton hadn't have been the superhero that he is. That's just not any ordinary right tackle. That's a super right tackle. And the Niners wouldn't be in the playoffs right now if it weren't. No, I'm serious. If Mike McGlinchey had played all year, the Niners would not have made the playoffs. The fact that he got hurt, I'm so sorry, Mike. Hope you're okay. But that Tom Compton could just emerge as this secret superstar and save the Niners season when Jimmy Garoppolo put the ball on the ground and just was like, oh, darn, there it is. Tom Compton was like, no, not on my watch. And he dove and he saved. It was the greatest play ever made by a 49ers offensive lineman and doesn't get enough credit. Tom Compton, game ball to you. You saved the season. So Jimmy really did. I mean, I would have to say he was on full-on Jimmy the Arsonist mode. In Englewood, I was there, man. Tom Compton was the first firefighter on the scene. He was. There's no question about it, man. He's the hero. But he didn't even want the credit. Did they put him out? Did they give him they have never made Tom Compton available to the media. Not once. Not once. That is so disrespectful for the best right tackle in the world. In the world, Craig. They need security in the world, Craig. You don't know what that's from. You don't know what that's from. We were getting good looks in the passing game. Oh, God. That's what Kyle says when they lose, right?
Yeah.
Top flight security of the world, Craig. $5. I'm going to keep saying it because you don't know what it's from. You didn't watch Friday After Next. McDaniel.
I was just going to say, that's Friday, isn't it?
Friday After Next. McDaniel getting interviewed by the Dolphins for head coach. That's interesting because have they interviewed him before? Someone please tell me that. If they have, they know what they're getting. A guy who's going to be a little off, and not off, but a little like not what you would expect from a head coaching. He's not going to be like Dan Campbell, but he knows his stuff. So I guess they know what they want. All right, let's get into it. Hold on.
They're only interviewing him, right? So that just because they interview somebody doesn't mean they're going to give him the job. Like
I don't think he's going to interview well, but if you're just interested in his playbook, you're gonna like that interview. Yeah. All right. If the 49ers beat the Cowboys, it will be for the following reasons. Let's make a comprehensive list of all the reasons the Niners, let's say, should beat the Cowboys.
Yeah, they don't turn the ball over. I don't think they can go through another game where Jimmy throws 2 picks and they still win the game. That was an anomaly.
No.
So don't come in with that expectation. They can't turn the ball over. I think at minimal, I think they can deal with 1 turnover. Like ideally you don't want any, but I think they can overcome 1 turnover.
Because again, like Prescott isn't like Stafford. Stafford is an arsonist himself. Prescott is got like a 4-to-1 TD-INT ratio. He does not turn the ball over. He takes he's really way better than Stafford. So yes, Jimmy and the offense, you can't have 3 points at halftime, none of that stuff. You can't have a bunch of turnovers. Let me say a couple things real quick that I think bode well for the Niners. Like, first of all, Dallas's pass defense is better than their run defense. They got Diggs with 1 million interceptions, and they got Micah Parsons with 1 million sacks. How is Micah Parsons defending the run, though? You know what I'm saying? Like, if he has to defend the run all game, that might not be his game.
He's a passer.
So there's that. And there's also the fact that, Zeke Elliott looks pretty cooked to me. And the Niners' run game should travel well. I mean, as long as Elijah Mitchell is healthy, this team can beat anyone. We talked about him a bit earlier, but he's over here getting 21 to 27 carries a game and rarely getting stopped in the backfield. I think as long as him and Debo are featured in the run game and they're healthy, which they are now, I think they are. I think he's a little banged up, but they're managing. They look good against the Rams. As long as those two are healthy, I think they match up really well with anyone.
What Dallas wants to do defensively is cause chaos. They want to sack you. They want to turn the ball over. That's what they want to do. Like that's their MO. So,
yeah, man, it's another one of these small, soft defenses that's built to stop the pass, which is a smart way to build a defense in the NFL in 2022. But the Niners have this offense. It's all built around physicality. Like, who else does that? No one. The Niners, and the Titans to an extent. But it's smart.
Right. So what you want to do is you have to run the football.
Yeah.
Don't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Have sustained offense.
Yes.
And don't put your defense on the field often. I think the 49ers can make plays on defense, but you don't want to put them in positions where you go 3 and out or you get negative. Don't do that. Okay. Their defense, it's I think it's a little bit better than average. I don't think it's outstanding. It can be outstanding in spurts, okay? But overall, if you look at their total in totality, they're a little bit better than average. Offensively, that's kind of where they are too. So like they have to work together. So the offense has to have sustained offense and score, and then the defense has to put together their side of the bargain. Is they have to get off the field, and when the Cowboys do move the ball, keep the scores to field goals.
If the 49ers can do to the Rams what they did, if the 49ers can do to the Cowboys what they did to the Rams on that one drive when they were down 17-10 and they called 10 consecutive runs and then a pass for their wide receiver, if they can do that kind of stuff against the Cowboys, they'll win. They will win the game because if the Cowboys are going to try to put the game in Jimmy's hands, if they can do that, the Cowboys will win. If the Niners can say, no, we're going to play how we want to play, and we're going to run through you. If they can do that, then they will win the game because everyone wants to put the game in Jimmy's hands. You're not always able to, and I'm not sure that the Rams are able to. The Cowboys are able to. I'm not sure that they can. If they get a lead early, maybe that's the best way to do it just because they can probably run the ball better than the Rams. You know what I'm saying? Like if the Cowboys go up 17-0, we'll talk about that next. They're probably going to win. But otherwise, the Niners should be able to run the ball, control the game, win the game, I would think.
Yeah. You don't want this.
Cowboys giving up 4.5 yards per carry. The Niners should be fine. Fine, as long as Elijah Mitchell doesn't get hurt.
I saw that, but I think some of it might be because they've had some games where they're blowing teams out. So when you're blowing teams out, you give up some rushing yards.
Hey man, if the Cowboys can find a way to shut down this Niners run game, as Quinn he did a good job 2 years ago with Atlanta. If he can shut it down there and put the game in Jimmy's hands, I'm not feeling good about that because you know how I feel about Jimmy the Arsonist. That's his new name. Kevin says, can you talk about Jimmy the Arsonist's flaws all day, but will say guy has rare leadership abilities and guys believe in him. It's why he's clutch and wins game. No guarantee Lance develops this same quality. Oh my God. So let's just keep Jimmy Garoppolo for another 10 years. So how about that? Let's do that. Let's do that then. Let's never give Trey Lance a chance because Jimmy Garoppolo and his 2.9 career interception percentage is and his 12-10 record. I'm sorry, Kevin. I didn't mean to. I'm sorry, Kevin. I appreciate you. I didn't mean to get exasperated.
He wouldn't need to be clutch if he didn't throw the picks in the first place.
Can we not do this anymore? He's going to come back next year, aren't they? They're going to bring him back, and they're going to do it. They're going to do this again next year. I think they're going to. Oh man, they're going to do it again. Oh man, okay, Jimmy. All right, rare leadership qualities and guys believe in him. Yeah, so did Eli Manning. I guess if you had Trey Lance at 21 and Eli Manning at 30. Who would you rather have?
Here's the thing about Eli Manning, like, yeah, he threw picks in the regular season, but then twice in the postseason, he shut that down and he won the Super Bowl. Jimmy has not done that. The one time we talk about where he actually made the Super Bowl, he was throwing picks and they had to be like, all right,
he's handing off. Yeah.
We have to stop. When Manning was in the playoffs and he was hot, the Giants were like, here's the ball, Eli. Like, go do your thing.
Yeah.
We all
running back was who? Like Ahmad Bradshaw? Like him and his 3.8 yards.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask everybody this question.
Yeah.
If you took Jimmy and teleported him back into that Giants game and he took over for Eli when they were facing that Niners defense that game, like, at what quarter does Jimmy leave the game?
No, I mean, man, because I think dude got hit 20-something times and that he was brutal. Yeah, I'm with you on that, dude. Okay, that's a good way to put it. Come on, Niner fans. But Kevin, thank you. Jimmy the Arsonist flaws. Cowboy played Washington, Eagles, and Giants all twice. That's 6 easy wins. Cowboys had a weak schedule. It's true. That's another reason the Niners will beat the Dallas.
But I mean, if you watch them though, like what they do on defense, like with the turnovers, it's scary, and you can't put the Niners in situations where they have to obviously throw the football because they can rush the passer and they can go get the football.
McDaniel's got interviewed by Dolphins before, but for a different job. Okay, so he's been there. They know him. That's good because, like, if you've never met Mike McDaniel, you might be like, it's a little bit like in My Cousin Vinny when the public defender comes out. At first, you're like, you know what I mean? Do you know what I'm talking about? No,
yeah.
No. Okay, it's like, oh wow, whoa. But if you know Mike McDaniel's track record, like, he is probably the best run game architect in the league, and some might. I mean, Rams probably want that right about now. So it seems like they probably know what they want, and that might be bad news for the Niners because losing him would be tough.
This is getting off topic, but I think the whole thing with the Dolphins, I think the Dolphins want to be in on the Harbaugh sweepstakes. They wanted him really bad the last time around. I think that's why they fired their coach.
Good point. San Fran 49er fan says, who knew if you play young players and they get experience, they might get better. Such a novel concept. No, you only get better on the scout team. You get worse in games. You get worse.
Right.
That's what I heard.
The way to get better is you watch film and you watch other people play, and that's how you get better.
Yeah, you just sit there. Take notes. Sean says, this show scared me. I saw a picture and thought the rapture had happened. Kay giving Grant interview. Never. Zeke looks slow now. He actually said he would give me one before the 2020 season. It was right after I got the John Lynch one. It was 2019.
Kyle did.
He never followed through yet. Zeke looks slow now. How is Dal O-line? Good O-line. Zeke does look slow. Their best running back is Pollard, in my opinion.
Maybe if they bring back Compton next year, he'll give you one.
Compton could just chew me out the whole time. Remember that? Remember all that shit you were talking? Grant? I heard that. What are you going to say now? I'm right here. Sorry, Tom. Thoughts on the McDaniel to Miami head coaching rumor? Damn, people want to talk about this. You just said that you think that they're going to hold out for Harbaugh. So
I think that's why they made the move. I believe their owner is a Michigan alum, and the last time around, I don't know if you guys remember this when
Stephen Ross,
Harbaugh they were very close. People reporting it was a done deal, and then the Niners swooped in at the last moment. I think they met and they upped their offer, and they got.
It's true. And he didn't want to go to Miami. He was already out here with his family. But again, the fact that Miami's had this dude in the building before for an interview makes me feel like this is serious. Because Harbaugh may not leave Michigan.
Right. You know, well, he might not leave Michigan, and he might not choose you. So obviously, if you're Miami, you have to have a backup option. Like, you can't just be left. You know, you don't want to be the Niners back when they were like, oh, we'll just hire Jim Tomasula. Like, no, you want to have backup, right?
Yeah. And it's interesting that McDaniel would get more interest than D'Amico. I mean, both guys have been a coordinator for just 1 year. The Niners' defense is rated higher than their offense. D'Amico played in the league, has much more of like leadership capability. Like, he's much more of a front man, you would think, than McDaniel, who I'm just saying, it's interesting. I would probably lean toward D'Amico, but a lot of people want that offense.
Yeah, I think I would be careful if I was hiring with these guys that are only in it for 1 year. When you look at a guy like Staley this past year, like, you want to be careful with guys that've only done it for one year. I know like you look at Vrabel. Okay, I
That's
think
that's the comparison for Ryan's for me because I know Staley was 1 year, but like who the hell is Staley? Like 5 years ago, he was at some William and Mary. I mean, some college I never heard of, wherever. Like D'Amico played, he was quality control, he was position coach, he's kind of done everything.
I think what you want to ask when you're making those hires are like, I know if before you weren't the OC, but like how heavily involved were you in the organization? Like I do think
no one's helping D'Amico with defense in the Niners other than his underlings.
I do think McDaniel was heavily involved with the offense, even when he wasn't the offensive coordinator. So I do think that he was heavily it's obviously Kyle's baby, but McDaniel has long been known as the architect of that run game. So he's I'm not gonna say he was offensive coordinator to name, but he was the run game coordinator. He was the architect of that run game for a while. I don't know how much D'Amico was involved with schematic and I know he was involved with the development of the linebackers, but I don't know how much he was involved with the defense. Maybe he was. Maybe he was the guy who was like, we have to go to the wide nine.
That's not the most important consideration for a head coach, though. I mean, Vrabel, like his defense ranked like 30th or something, and he's a good head coach. That's the whole thing with D'Amico. It depends on who he can bring in as his coordinators and what kind of leadership he has, I would say.
Yeah.
We don't need to talk about this forever, though.
Right. I was just gonna say the involvement matters because to me it matters with how much more information you're soaking in. You're soaking all the information from positions that you don't know about, or maybe that you're not so familiar with. Because as a head coach, you have to be familiar with all the positions and not just yours.
That's true. Kevin F says, "Love you, Grant. Here's why I'm torn. Jimmy, third highest winning percentage of quarterbacks behind Montana and Young. If he makes a deep run again, then why? Then when he's healthy, we contend. Why mess with that? Why mess with that? Oh my God. Okay, well, here's the thing, Kevin. He's 12-10 in his last 22. All right. So what happens is he wins a game, and you say, well, maybe we should keep him for next year. And then he loses a game the next week because he's pretty much a 500 quarterback at this point. People are like, leave him in Nashville. So just all I'm going to say is, I know you feel this way now, but this is like the roller coaster, the Jimmy G roller coaster. He wins a game, people want him back next year. They lose a game, people want him benched. Just wait till next week. You know what I'm saying? Like if they lose to Dallas, I would love to hear what you have to say then. Like when this season ends without a Super Bowl victory, most likely, because only team wins, I'm just saying, it's going to be Jimmy's fault. Everyone's going to blame Jimmy. Everyone's going to blame Jimmy when this finally ends, if it ends. And tell me how you feel at that point. But if he goes to Super Bowl and wins, then yeah, he's coming back, of course. If he wins a Super Bowl this year, yeah, he's coming back. Of course. Failing that is going to be his fault when they inevitably lose. Tell me I'm wrong.
Although, Grant, I feel like, and honestly, my opinion is if they won a Super Bowl with Jimmy, that'd be the best time to trade him because his value would be an all-time high. Like that's when you want to get rid of him.
But they won't.
No, but it's like having a stock. Dump it when it's high, right? That's the highest it would possibly be. Yeah.
Drop it like it's hot. Dump it when it's hot. Yeah.
I'd be floored if I do not see the 49ers like when you're talking about blaming Jimmy, I couldn't see a 49 like him going out there and having a 300-yard game with 3 touchdowns and 1 pick and then them losing. Like, if the 49ers lose, it's probably going to be he's going to have 2 picks, 3 picks. You know, he's probably not going to hit 200 yards passing, or maybe he's just going to be there, just hit it there. Like, that's what it's going to look like when they lose, if they lose.
Keldon says Harbaugh to the NFC because John is still in the AFC. Yeah, some people think he'd like to go to Chicago. That one makes sense to me because just like 10 years ago where he went to the Niners, he's got like 8 kids or something. I don't know about that, but he's got kids. He's got a wife. I don't think she likes moving around a ton. They went from Palo Alto to Santa Clara. Now they're in Ann Arbor, which isn't that far from Chicago. So maybe that'll work.
Yeah. Well, a couple things on that. First, I don't think Harbaugh really cares which one he's in. Like he's a competitor. I honestly don't think now maybe he doesn't want to be in the AFC in the AFC North. Right, but Harbaugh's maybe he would love to be in the NFC North, but there's no position open for him there. But I think he doesn't care. I think he'll go wherever he wants to go. I do think that there might be some preference for warmer weather. I have heard things that his wife prefers to be in a warmer climate, but we'll see. Ann Arbor. Yeah. Well, I think that was more so Jim. That was a Jim decision. That was his alma mater. He's like, I need to go there, but I don't know. I think if Jim's going to go somewhere, I think it's going to be probably Miami or Las Vegas, but we'll see.
Anthony C just put up a comment that I took down because partially slanderous, but he says McDaniel. Everyone calls him McDaniels. I love that. It's McDaniel. Looks like an MIT coder who lives off Captain Crunch. Captain Crunch cuts up your mouth. I don't like Captain Crunch at all. It's terrible.
Yeah,
I don't know. It just feels like it's, I don't know.
Crunchberry.
Not a big. All right. Okay. So then we just laid out how the Niners should win, could win, would win, all that. If the Niners lose to the Cowboys, it will be because of the following factors. In your opinion?
Jimmy throws picks.
Let's stay right there for a second. The first half struggles, the 3 points at halftime that the Niners have had the last 2 weeks, regardless of the quarterback, that can't go on. Because, again, the reason the Niners came back and won is because the Rams had no run game. That was the trickle. That was the snowball from there. The Cowboys can run the ball enough to hold a 17-point lead, so that can't happen again. Okay,
I know we've all said Zeke has fallen off, but Zeke has traditionally had good games against 49ers. Now, it's been a couple years, I think, but if you look back, Zeke usually does pretty well versus 49ers.
And to me, Tony Pollard is very explosive. He's averaging 5.5 yards a carry. He's something that you got to worry about.
Yes.
There's more. We don't know if Trent Williams is going to play. We think he should. I thought he would last week. K'Wan Williams, that's another one. Jaquaski Tart. Wishnowski in the concussion protocol, not just the punter, but the kickoff guy and the holder.
Wait,
3 jobs.
I don't know, man. Maybe with a week of practice, maybe Gold is better than
or maybe with the week of preparation. The Cowboys special teams coach, I believe, is Fossil. Correct me on that, but that guy used to be with the Rams. He knows the Niners well. He's known for having fakes and blocks and stuff. And if the Niners are really going to have Robbie Gould out there, he was looking a little slow with that process. Maybe they sell out to block it, or maybe the Niners sign another punter. If they do that this week, that Wishnowski's not coming back. So those are the question mark. First of all, it's one thing to say you're going to beat the Cowboys because Trent Williams is going to pound on Michael Parsons in the run game, but without Trent Williams, man, all of a sudden looking at Michael Parsons like, that guy's really good.
Well, not just Parsons, but DeMarcus Lawrence.
Yep.
Don't forget about him. DeMarcus Lawrence is really good.
And then also there's the Dan Quinn factor. We talked about it earlier. Can Dan Quinn use his knowledge of Kyle's tendencies to not shut down the run game, but hold it in check and put the game in Jimmy's hands? That would be the other way the Cowboys,
Right. Shutting down the run game. You're making Jimmy throw it. And if you make Jimmy throw it, he's probably going to throw picks.
He's thrown 4 picks in the last 2 games. 4 picks in the last 2 games. That's how you do it. So but again, their run defense isn't great. They're going to have to have some type of edge from Dan Quinn to pull this off. And then they're going to have Kyle basically beat himself like he's done in the 2 Super Bowls. Just get away from the run game.
And then I think also on the other side, I think on the flip side, defensively, I think the 49ers lose if they can't get pressure on Dak with their front 4. And
because again, these receivers are better than the ones they just faced last week. Amari and Lamb are legit. I don't know what else to say. They're really good.
And if Ambry doesn't hold up, I don't think Ambry doesn't need to be shut down, but he's gonna have to make some plays. Even if he's not picking off the ball, he can't just let them throw it up and get touchdowns or pass interference on every ball that they target him on.
Because guys like Cooper and Lamb can be covered and make catches at the catch point, like AJ Brown.
Yeah,
especially Lamb. Lamb's very physical.
Yes, he is.
Any other reasons that the Niners would lose to Dallas? I do feel like the Niners have an edge with this run game. Anytime the Niners go up against a soft defense that isn't great against the run, I feel like I don't know if this team's ready for the Niners' physicality on offense, but
you
hit
on it a little bit, but your boy Tim Hightower, is it Tim Hightower?
Richard Hightower. Tim Hightower.
Sorry, Tim Hightower is the running back. Your boy Richard Hightower. If those special teams rear their ugly head again,
seriously, right? See, to me, like the Wisnowski factor is key. If you don't have your punter holder, now the Niners just beat the Rams without all these guys, and I was kind of nervous about that. But to me, the Cowboys are better than the Rams. To me, they are, because they know what to do with the lead. They have a better quarterback, a better run game, better team. So
the one thing I'll say about the Wisnowski factor coming in is that happened during the game. They didn't expect it. That now they at least have a week to plan, whether it's getting Gold ready to do it or bring another punter. At least you have a week to figure it out, right? So
I'm leaning the Niners winning this game, but these are all the things that make me say I'd like to wait until Friday to make my prediction, because I don't even expect them to list with. I don't expect Trent Williams to practice this week. I don't expect him to be listed as anything better than questionable. So I feel like we're going to be waiting for inactives again. And about 90 minutes before the game, we're going to be like, okay, I have a feeling. I have a sense. I don't know. This is going to be a great week.
Is Jimmy Garoppolo going to start?
Does Jawan Jennings' latest success give you more confidence that Jimmy will throw less than 2 picks versus Dallas? Great, should be T-Dub. Let's go Niners.
Great, you should ask him that.
Man. The fact that Jimmy Garoppolo has thrown 2 picks 2 games in a row makes me really nervous, and I feel like this is a game where Kyle calls 8 passes. Man, it's time 8, just like you did in the NFC Championship game.
And one of them is thrown by Debo.
Yeah, that's right. Jimmy gets hurt and Lance brings us to the Super Bowl. Well, we're not hoping for injuries on people, but I do think that the Niners could theoretically do that, because I don't think the engine of this team is their quarterback. It's their running backs. Expectations on the Niners fans take over at Dallas. Who cares? Can we talk about that? Every week when we're on the road and there's the flurry of tweets like a lot of red in the stands. Who cares? Why? Who cares, man? I don't care.
Well,
we beat him. We beat him in the stands. Now we're gonna beat him on the field. Like, who cares?
Wait.
Went to the game.
It did matter some last week, because it was basically a 49ers home game, and the Rams were a little shocked. They even said it in their presser that, like, okay, we've got crowd noise.
LA.
I'm
sorry. I went to college in LA. No one cares about professional football in LA. The only people who care about professional football in LA are people who are from Chicago or people who are from other places that like teams that they grew up with. No one cares. No one cares. It's a basketball town. It's a baseball. It's not a football town. I'm sorry. So the Rams just learned the hard way. The West Coast it's all about the Niners in the West Coast, except in Seattle. And East Oakland.
Didn't the Niners flood the Cowboys stadium the last time they played or something like that? Now it's going to be the playoffs.
Who cares?
But
I don't know. I'd never do the stadium looking pretty red today tweet. Like, I'm sorry. I can get likes and retweets other ways. Sorry. John says comparing Jimmy Garoppolo to Trey needs to include the 4 extra top players SF could afford without Jimmy's expensive. Thank you. Because that's what everyone says about the DeForest Buckner Armstead thing, right? Like, it's not fair to just compare them straight up. It's Armstead plus Ward plus this plus that. It's like, okay, fine. That's what we're talking about here.
I say that.
So it's the same thing. Same logic. Trey with vet backup. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Like, Colt McCoy doesn't throw picks. Like, he could have been the vet backup, but no. Kevin F. Hey, Kevin, will the Niners actually get new guys with the money they save on Jimmy's contract, or just use it to re-sign current guys? Is there enough to go get others?
A little bit. I mean, the thing is, the guys that they have to re-sign are big money. They're going to be big money contracts. Like, pass rusher and wide receivers are getting a lot of money now. So that's going to be a lot of money. Like, the Bosa contract, it's going to be big.
The Debo contract is going to be big.
It's going to be big. So
it's gonna be
big. A lot of money. So you got to save that. You got to save that space. Now, that the way caps work is, so Bosa and Debo both have they're not up this year, but I think they're up the following year, right? In 2022 is when they're. I'm sorry, 2023 is when they're free agents. So when they re-up and they re-sign, the 49ers cap will get affected this year, but only by their bonus money. So their base salary won't be affected, but they will be added. Their prorated bonus will affect the cap in that way. So it'll go up a little bit, but you do have to protect yourself a little bit in the future. So I think they can sign some stuff, but or some players, but I don't think they can go like bananas.
All right, it's time to end the show with the weekly question. Are the 49ers Super Bowl contenders? Like we've been asked, this is essentially a little bit better than a 500 team. They lost 7 games this year. The answer keeps changing. But I want to answer it first, and then I'll let you go. To me, I've been saying I don't think this team is a real contender all year, pretty much because of Jimmy. And now I feel like if they win the Super Bowl, it will be because of Elijah Mitchell and Deebo Samuel. Like, I really think that if Elijah Mitchell can stay healthy and keep doing this 20 to 27 carry a game thing, they can win the Super Bowl. There is no great team this year, and the Niners could be like the rare team that wins with running backs. My thing, though, is that I don't see Elijah Mitchell. What's required of him the next 4 or 5 weeks is enormous. And he hasn't shown that he can really do that consistently and stay healthy. He keeps missing time. And I think as soon as he breaks down, it's over. The dream is over. But if he can continue to do this and be Superman and get 20 to 27 carries and control the game, yeah, the Niners can win a Super Bowl with Jimmy, with Trey Lance, whichever quarterback they throw out there. I think they have their Terrell Davis right now, and as long as he's healthy, the Niners they have more than a puncher's chance against freaking anyone. That's how I feel.
I agree to some extent and disagree on another point.
How dare you?
I do think that they're going to have to lean heavily on the running game. However,
heavily,
Jimmy or whoever is out there, whether it be Lance or Nate Sudfeld, are going to
pick up some passes.
Yeah, they're going to have to make plays. With that being said,
just don't turn the ball over.
Right. Like Jimmy can't have his interception percentage can't be what it is. Yeah. It's gotta be like that Eli Manning year where it's an aberration and it's 0.8. Like,
I'd like to think if Elijah Mitchell can keep doing what he's doing and Deebo can keep doing what they're doing from the backfield, that Jimmy could like get out of the way and just be good enough. But again, to me, I don't really feel like this formula is going to work because the whole thing about building your offense around one running back is running backs get hurt. Mitchell gets hurt. This is not just a run first team. It's a run first, second, and third team. And you got one running back you trust. Like Hasty is a receiver. Jeff Wilson Jr., you kind of trusted him. But as soon as Mitchell comes back, he doesn't ever get the ball anymore. If they had a committee of running backs that they trusted, I'd say, this team this running game is unstoppable. But to me, it's stoppable the minute Mitchell misses time, to me. Because now you can't control the game the way they lost in Tennessee. Why? Mitchell didn't play. They lost in Seattle. Why? Deebo didn't play. Other than that, they haven't lost in a very long time. I think you need both of them healthy running the ball. And I just, is that going to be the case in 3 weeks? It's the case this week. And that's why I feel like the Niners probably should win.
He's going to have to minimize the turnovers. Like,
yeah,
he's going to have to I'll give you an example of a play, and I think you're going to do film with Jack. But, like, remember, you had to tweet out, like, on 3rd and long, that's what you want to do. You want to go to JaMychal Hasty, right? Deep. But if you look at that play, that was actually a positive play because what he was trying to do, or the whole concept was to go to Deebo. They wanted to go to Deebo on a dig, but the safety came across and covered it. And so then Jimmy threw a ball outside. It's a safe play. The DB made a great play on it. Like, if the ball placement wasn't perfect.
If the ball was 2 yards further upfield, it's a big game.
It's a difficult interception. It's a difficult interception. Now, what Jimmy has done on more than one occasion is just not seeing the safety or think he can get in there anyways, or just throw it in there anyway to Deebo. And that's where a lot of his picks come. Like, where'd the picks come in the pass game? Triple coverage into Kittle. Like, those are the ones that he has to not make. Those are like takeaway. He can't make dumb interceptions. If he throws a ball and it's a decent ball and Trevon Diggs makes like this one-handed Odell Beckham interception, that's okay. But he can't be making the ones where he's throwing into triple coverage and doesn't see a safety. Like, those are the ones he can't make those plays. And if he does that, if he minimizes those plays, and can still apply his clutch factor, then I think the 49ers could win the Super Bowl.
NorCal says, if Jimmy Garoppolo starts throwing picks like always, do you think Kyle Shanahan will sit him and play Trey Lance? No. No.
No.
Unless Jimmy Garoppolo says he's hurt at halftime or something like that, maybe. But no, I mean Kyle's been consistent. One thing he's been consistent on all year is that he's playing Jimmy all year.
Jimmy would have to throw like 3 picks, I think, early, and for him to do it.
Dude, he did it. I don't think so. Dustin, I don't think he's going to. To be fair, if more fans in the stands give us an edge while they're always playing, thumbs up. Also, price of Dallas tickets went up 3 times once matchup announced. I don't care. I still don't care, but you can care. I'm not saying you shouldn't care. I like that you care. I'm impressed.
Grant's like, I got there for free, so I don't care about the price.
That is not true. I definitely don't. I pay my own way and write it off. It's a write-off because I got it like that all of a sudden. Anyway, that's our show.
Write off for 2023 now. Or
Yep,
2022, but
no, I'm invested, baby. Let's go. All right, man. This is going to be a very interesting week. I'm flying out to Dallas Friday morning. I'm filling up the rest of my days with content creation.
little BBQ.
Little BBQ. Yeah, I'm staying in Arlington, which is definitely where you want to be. So I'll get some recommendations and just Uber it up around. I'm not gonna rent a car because I feel like renting a car, that's like hundreds of dollars a day. I mean, you're better off just Ubering, right?
Yeah.
Pretty much. So do that. Be
All
fun.
right.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks, Coach. Thanks, everyone, for watching. I'll be back at 2 with Jack to watch some film.
Yeah.
So if you want to watch Jimmy Garoppolo just set the world on fire, come over to my channel. See him single-handedly beat the Rams. You know where to go. See ya.